Okay, you now know how to choose a great niche, and you know how important it is to your future success online. Whatever stage you're in with your online business right now, take a minute if you haven't already and do a quick check and make sure you're in a good market. If you need to, review my last video where I walk through my 4-step, no-fail market research process, which makes it literally impossible to choose the wrong niche. Once you've chosen a great niche, the next step is to build a subscriber list, and that's what this video is all about. I'm Adam Short, and for the last 10 years, I've built several million-dollar online companies, and I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs all over the world start and grow successful online businesses. Now, if there's one common feature among the world's most profitable online businesses, it's a strong niche coupled with a great list. That said, building a list isn't just about thriving online. These days, you need a list merely to survive. The internet marketing game has evolved rapidly since I got started. There used to be a very wide range of ways to make money online. Over time, though, a lot of those strategies have just faded away. They've just stopped working as the internet has matured. See, it's the big players that decide what is allowed to work online and what isn't. The fact is, the world's biggest businesses make billions through marketing to their email lists. So there's no way they're going to let anything happen to this highly lucrative medium. And that's great news for us because anyone, and I do mean anyone with the right knowledge, can build a list. And fortunately, it's easier now to build a list than ever before. There are more places now to get traffic from, and the tools available for launching your opt-in pages and sending emails to your subscribers keep getting better and better. Despite all this, I still see people struggling with list marketing, and I've noticed that the struggle doesn't lie in building a list of subscribers, but rather in building a relationship with those subscribers. And building that relationship is the key to generating sales from your list. The good news, though, is that these are all easy mistakes to avoid and fix. So listen, the very survival of your business rests not only on building a list, but building a strong relationship with your list. If you don't do these things properly, you may be able to tread water for a little while, but eventually your business is going to sink. I know because I struggled for years to get my online business off the ground, and it wasn't until I shifted my attention to list building that I saw real, lasting success. I want to share a website with you that has an interesting story behind it. I launched the site way back in 2005. Now, I'll have more case studies that I'll be sharing with you in these videos, but this was the first site where, after years of struggling online, I finally started to get things right. The site is betatips.com, a little niche site about betta fish care. When I think about this site, I'm reminded of a quote by Thomas Edison who said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." In other words, success is often a process of elimination. For a long time, betatips.com was my personal crash test dummy. I used it to experiment and figure out what worked and what didn't. And eventually, exhausted after finding 10,000 things that didn't work, I decided one day to start building a list with this site. And that marked a huge shift in my business. That's when everything started to fall into place, and the site went from losing money to very quickly making several $1,000s per month on total autopilot. And it's been that way ever since. Years later, it's still making money consistently and with literally no ongoing work on my part. After my success with betatips.com, I kept building more sites just like it. And then I started scaling some of them up to 6 and even 7 figures. We'll talk more about scaling, by the way, later on in this training series. So just imagine for a second having a super profitable, yet very low maintenance business like this. A business that you could spend as much or as little time on as you wanted. A business that you could grow to any size that you wanted, yet if you felt like taking a week off or maybe a couple of months off, you could, and your income from your business would stay rock solid. How would your life change? What changes would you make in your life once you had a business like that? Hang on to that vision because you're really only a few small steps away from getting there. The next step is building that list and putting a solid, automated email follow-up sequence in place that will build a relationship with your list and make a lot of sales for you. So let's get going. Let's build that list. Now, I'm not sure what your situation is right now, but back in 2005, when I was still tinkering with my betta fish site, I was in a state of true desperation. At the time, I was living in my aunt's spare bedroom in Tucson, Arizona, about $40,000 in credit card debt, and over $100,000 in student loan debt. And the idea that this little website on pet fish would completely change my life was the furthest thing from my mind. Now, just prior to this, I was actually a successful internet marketer, making thousands of dollars per month online from home and living in a beautiful apartment at the base of the foothills of Hollywood, California. So for a while, life was great. The thought, though, that 2 years later I'd be broke, dejected, and living with a relative because I couldn't pay my rent never entered my mind. It all started when I graduated from college in 2003. I had no idea what I wanted to do as far as a career, so I was open to whatever sounded interesting. One day, a former classmate suggested I come in and interview for an open position at a company he worked for called Overture. Overture happened to be the world's biggest pay-per-click search engine at the time. In fact, they actually invented the whole pay-per-click concept. Google AdWords, Facebook's ad platform, Microsoft's ad platform, all the major PPC platforms that we see today that pretty much run the internet all have Overture to thank. I must have caught my future boss on a good day because despite my lack of experience, they hired me as an entry-level marketing analyst. For the first few months, I was literally thrilled to have a good job at an innovative technology company. But when the buzz started to wear off, I looked around and couldn't help but start to feel like a rat in a cage. That's when I started wondering, is this it? One day at lunch, I happened to overhear a conversation between two gentlemen about my age who worked in the department next to me. They were actually making money online for themselves using the Overture network. They were simply setting up ads and sending people straight from those ads to affiliate offers. Remember, pay-per-click was brand new, so clicks literally cost pennies. I didn't even finish lunch that day. I raced back to my cubicle right then, and instead of working on a metrics report that was due that week, I opened an Overture advertiser account. A few days later, I had my first ad running and making me money. To say I was thrilled wouldn't really capture the moment. It was actually much more significant than that for me. In my mind, I had discovered a way to escape the corporate world and live the life of a self-made entrepreneur, and that feeling was intoxicating. I kept setting up more ads, making more and more money, and left my job at Overture after about 9 months. My early success, though, came to an abrupt end. Just 1 month after I left Overture, my online income was almost completely wiped out. It turned out that I had started my little business right when the pay-per-click landscape was starting to change dramatically. In short, Overture introduced a set of new policies that made it a lot more difficult to do what I was doing, and that left me pretty much high and dry. So I went almost instantly from a very comfortable life for a 22-year-old to being unable to pay rent. From there, it only got worse because I began to panic. I started frantically buying a lot of internet marketing courses, and when one didn't work right away, I would jump to the next, and I kept repeating this pattern. Looking back, there were actually some good courses I bought that I just never gave a full chance because I didn't slow down enough to give them the time of day. Eventually, I had to sell my car, I sold all of my furniture, and moved out of my apartment in Hollywood and back to my hometown of Seattle. I moved into a house with a few friends from back in high school, but I really continued to struggle for a long time. I went through several jobs, including a job as a marketing manager at Expedia, but I just couldn't shake the experience of losing my income because, for me, it had become about a lot more than money. It was losing a dream of becoming both financially and personally free. Expedia eventually let me go because my boss discovered I'd been spending most of my working hours tinkering around with my own websites, and eventually, 2 years later, 6 figures in debt and feeling pretty miserable, I moved out of that house in Seattle and in with my aunt and cousin in Tucson. And I remember one morning I was speaking to my mother on the phone and filling her in on some of my business frustrations, and she had always been in my corner cheering me on. But she could tell this time I was especially miserable, and she made a simple suggestion that actually changed my life. To my surprise, instead of saying the usual things people say when trying to make someone feel better, like, "Don't give up, I believe in you, you'll make it," she actually made the very practical suggestion that I give myself a cutoff point where if things didn't work out in my online business within a certain period of time, I would throw in the towel and put internet marketing completely behind me. And I knew as soon as she said it, she was right. And I just remember feeling this immense relief. I had become so obsessed with making it big online that I had completely lost sight of the fact that I had other options besides that. I'd gotten total tunnel vision and ultimately created an imaginary prison for myself. Her simple suggestion led to a lot of realizations for me, the most important of which was that My motivation for rebuilding my online business had been fueled up to that point by negative feelings. When my pay-per-click income was wiped out, I had felt that something had been taken away from me, and it put me in a totally reactionary state. I was trying to snatch back my success instead of slowing down and taking the time to map out a clear and logical course of action. And it had led to years of financial struggle and personal frustration. So I gave myself a cutoff point of 6 months. I remember it was October when I spoke to my mother, and I made an agreement with myself that if I wasn't making a full-time income online by that coming April, I would completely quit internet marketing. That simple shift in mindset released all of that negativity, and it literally changed everything. It was like the reset button had been pushed. I sat down at my computer with a fresh outlook, and suddenly I just started making the right decisions. I took my beta fish site, which I had been experimenting with for years, and I started building a list and promoting an affiliate product. Pretty quickly, I started making sales daily from that site, and the rest is history. I continued to build additional sites following the same model, and within 2 months, I moved out of my aunt's apartment and back to Los Angeles, and within 6 months, I had completely paid off my $140,000 in student loans and credit card debt. Now, fortunately, this time around, I had built sites that were rock solid, dependable, and could weather changes in the internet marketing landscape. Now, of course, since then, I've learned a lot. I've continued to improve upon what I did initially with the beta fish site. I've discovered new, better, and faster ways of building and monetizing a list. And those are the techniques I'll be sharing with you in this video. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, "The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now." Start building your list today. Don't get distracted like I did. It cost me literally years of wasted time, and I don't want that to happen to you. So now I'm going to show you a 4-step formula for setting up what I call an automatic selling machine, or ASM. When you set it up like I'm going to demonstrate, your ASM will generate a ton of targeted leads for you quickly, and it will turn those leads into sales automatically, all the while building a fantastic relationship with your subscribers so you can sell products to them over and over again. Here are the 4 steps to creating your automatic selling machine. Step 1 is creating your lead winner. Step 2 is launching your lead offer page, also known as an opt-in page. Step 3 is launching your welcome letter, and Step 4 is launching your email follow-up sequence. Step 1, creating your lead winner. In order to capture a lead, also known as a subscriber, you need to give away something of value for free to people who visit your site. This could be a free report, a free email course, a free video, or something else. A lot of marketers out there call this lead bait. I'm not a fan of that phrase though, because it sort of sounds like we're fishing. But these are real people you're marketing to, and it helps to remember that because it will make you more money. Often it's the language we choose that colors how we think about things. I call it a lead winner because you have to ask yourself, what could I give away that is valuable enough to win someone over? What is valuable enough to them that they actually want to enter their email address and start connecting with you? Thinking about it from that angle will align you better with the people you're marketing to. Many people assume that relationship building only happens through the emails that you send to your list. The fact is, relationship building begins from the moment someone hits your website. Every interaction your visitor has with you from then on will influence the relationship either positively or negatively. So everything we do throughout this process is centered on continually improving that relationship. Okay, so for my lead winner, what I do 99% of the time is give away a free report. I love free reports because they're really easy to create and they tend to have a high perceived value, which means you'll often see a really solid opt-in rate. They're also a really great way to get your relationship with your subscribers started out on the right foot because you'll be giving your subscribers something of value for free right out of the gates. Now, there's a right way and a wrong way to go about creating your free report. Let's walk through the right way to do it. Here's a new affiliate site that we just launched this year, freelancewritingresources.com, which is all about helping freelance writers earn more money from their writing. You'll see the headline here on the lead offer page. The purpose of the headline is to present the free report in a compelling way. When someone enters their email address into the form, they get an email with a link to download their free report. I've opened the report here. Your report is going to have 2 key sections, a content section and a recommendation section. The purpose of the content section is to simply provide great information meant to educate and inform the reader. This is where relationship building comes into play. By providing great content, you'll be warming up your readers so that they'll be more likely to buy when they get to the selling section. The recommendation section goes at the end of your report, and that's where you're going to recommend an affiliate product. When someone clicks one of the affiliate links inside this report and buys the product you're recommending, you'll earn a commission. So now, let's go through a step-by-step process for creating a fantastic report that your audience will love and a highly compelling headline for your opt-in page. There are two phases to this process: preparation and execution. We'll start with phase 1, preparation. There are two things you'll need to do to prepare before creating your report and your headline. They include number 1, choosing the topics for your report, and number 2, reviewing the affiliate product you're promoting. Let's start with choosing the topics for your report. You don't just want to choose any old set of topics to write about. You want to incorporate topics that your audience is going to be really interested in. So you'll want to figure out what your audience triggers are. You can find these triggers by answering a few simple questions. What is your audience most frustrated about? And what are they most interested in? These are the things that are going to be most important to your audience. A huge shortcut for finding this information is simply by looking at products that are selling well in your niche and taking note of how they're being marketed. This technique works well because if a product is selling well, it means that it's really resonating with the target audience, which means that the marketing is hitting on those key audience triggers. So all you have to do is look at the sales page or watch the sales video to identify those triggers. So for example, in the last video we talked about the Manifestation Miracle product that we found over at ClickBank, which is about how to use the law of attraction. If you watch that sales video, it focuses primarily on manifesting happiness, wealth, and finding the perfect mate. So those three topics, happiness, wealth, and finding the perfect mate, are all potential triggers. It's a good idea though to verify this across at least one additional product. Amazon is one of my favorite places to do further research. If we go over to Amazon and type in the law of attraction, we see this book near the top of the results, which means it's a popular book in this category. If we visit the Amazon product page, click the book cover, then click the back cover, we can read a summary of what the book is about. We can see that it's all about greater happiness and fulfillment, greater wealth, and finding the perfect mate. The content in this book is pretty close to that of the Manifestation Miracle product at ClickBank. So there are some commonalities here between two hot-selling products. It's clear that people want to manifest happiness, wealth, and the perfect mate. If you check 2 or more sources and you see the triggers lining up like this, then you found some great potential topics for your report. Again, what I love about this technique is that it's a huge shortcut. You don't have to do hours of research. You're simply piggybacking off of research that has already been done by products that are proven sellers. So at this stage, you know what your report is going to be about. It's going to be about manifesting happiness, wealth, and the perfect mate. Now let's talk about the final step in the preparation process, which is reviewing the affiliate product you're promoting. Remember, toward the end of your report, you're going to want to transition out of content and into recommendation, where you'll be recommending that your readers purchase an affiliate product. To make this recommendation as strong as possible, you'll want to do at least a basic review of the product you're promoting. Most product owners out there will happily give you a review copy of their product if they know you're an affiliate, so you'll want to contact the product owner and request a complimentary copy. The easiest way to go about this is to just visit the home page of the affiliate product, then look for a contact or support link in the footer. Here at manifestationmiracle.net, I see a customer support link in the footer, so I would just click that, then go through the steps for contacting the support desk. Once you have that review copy, just take a little time to go through it and get a feel for what it's all about. This will help you create a really compelling recommendation for the product in your free report. You can see that there's a little bit of preparation you need to do before creating your content, but this is the stuff that's going to set you apart from your competitors and ensure that you're creating a site that's going to provide true value to your visitors and create a highly lucrative, evergreen online business. The good news is that creating your content is a breeze after having done this preparation. So let's move on to phase 2 now of creating your content, execution. There are 2 steps to the execution phase. Step 1 is writing your report, and step 2 is writing your opt-in page headline. You'll want to implement these steps in the order listed, and that will become clear as we go through this process. So what I want to do now is give you a simple but powerful template to follow when creating your report. Earlier I said that your report will consist of two sections, content and recommendation. We're going to go a little deeper now and actually break the content section into three components: the opportunity, the problem, and the solution. So now think of your report as having not two sections, but four: the opportunity, the problem, the solution, and the recommendation. If you follow this simple template, you'll end up with a report that provides a ton of value and makes you a ton of sales. Let's look at each section now in more detail. Section 1, the opportunity. This is where you go into detail on what the opportunity is for your audience. The purpose here is to get people engaged and excited by what is possible, by what they stand to gain. If we open up the report for freelance writing resources and scroll down, the section in green is where I'm describing the opportunity. I explained that before the internet came along, becoming a well-paid freelance writer was a lot more difficult, but that the internet has really leveled the playing field so that anyone from anywhere in the world can earn money as a freelance writer working from home. Section 2, the problem. There are multiple psychological reasons for introducing a problem of some kind in your report. For starters, it creates an enemy, something to fight against, and that's a powerful tactic in motivating your audience to take action. It also creates some drama with your reader, which will draw them further into your content. And finally, it positions you as the source of a solution to the problem. Going back to my freelance writing report, the section in red is where I've described the problem. And in this case, I'm explaining that there is a lot of inaccurate information online about how to make money as a freelance writer, and that there's also a lack of quality step-by-step training, so a lot of people don't even know how to start. Section 3, the solution. Here's where you explain the solution to the problem. You want to start out by providing some great content, then briefly mention the product you're promoting. Going back to my report, the section in purple is where I'm going into the solution. I'm explaining here that there are lots of ways to make money quickly online as a freelance writer, and I go into detail on some of those methods. But then I also say that the way to really make the most money is to secure quality gigs and jobs, and to do that, you need access to a great job board. Now, the product I'm promoting is called Real Writing Jobs, which is a job board for freelance writers. I found the product at ClickBank, did a full market analysis, and everything looked great. Section 4, the recommendation. This is where you go into detail on the benefits of owning the product that you're promoting. You can usually grab these benefits right from the video or sales letter of the product itself. And of course, you embed your affiliate link in the report. Here's my freelance writing report, and the gold section is where I'm doing my product recommendation. Again, you can download the report below this video. I've left the color coding in place as well so that you can use it as a reference in creating your own report. Now, if you're familiar with your chosen niche, if you have some knowledge on the topic, you'll probably be able to whip out your report really quickly. If you're not familiar with the niche, you may need to do some research before writing your report. I'm going to give you an awesome research shortcut later on in this video that'll save you a ton of time. Once your report is finished, you want to come up with a way to present it in the most compelling way possible so that people want to download it. So the final step in the execution phase is to write a headline for your opt-in page, which again we call the lead offer page. Now, I see people get nervous about writing headlines. I used to get nervous too because I was worried my headline just wouldn't convert. But then I discovered a simple formula for writing great headlines and doing it fast. I started using it, saw great results, and never worried again about the headline writing process. Since then, I've taught this same formula to thousands of people, and I've seen people of all ages and levels of experience use it successfully. The fact is, anyone can write a great headline by following this formula, even without any prior copywriting experience. So here it is. The key to writing a great headline is to weave three simple elements together into a single impactful sentence. Those three elements include, number 1, the key benefits, number 2, an attractive timeline, and number 3, a guarantee. Now, to help you put structure around these three elements, I'm going to give you the top 5 headline templates. These templates have been used by the world's best marketers time and time again across literally dozens of campaigns and hundreds of niches. I've used each and every one of them myself, and they flat out work. They include who else wants, the number 1 secret, a little known method, discover how, and now you can have. So the idea is to take the 3 elements and drop them into one of the top 5 templates. Let's look at some examples. We'll take each of the 5 headline templates and look at a sample headline for each that weaves in the 3 key elements. Let's assume that we're going to be promoting the Manifestation Miracle product over at ClickBank. We've created a free report on manifesting that touches upon the key subjects of happiness, wealth, and finding the perfect mate. And now we need to create a great headline that makes people want to join our email list and download our report. We'll start with the Who Else Wants headline template. Who else wants a powerful, proven system for manifesting greater fulfillment, more wealth, and the perfect partner in 24 hours or less, 100% guaranteed? We have the key benefits here. Just after that, I've weaved in an attractive timeline for achieving those benefits. Then I've tagged a guarantee to the end. Here's an example using the number 1 secret template. The number 1 secret to achieving greater fulfillment, wealth, and romance than you ever dreamed possible, all in less than 5 minutes per day, guaranteed. We have the key benefits here, the attractive timeline here, and the guarantee here. Notice there are different ways to present your guarantee. In this example, I've simply put the word guaranteed in parentheses. Moving on now to the A Little Known Method template. A little known method for attracting true fulfillment, wealth, and your perfect mate in just 5 minutes per day without ever leaving your living room, 100% guaranteed. We have our benefits, our attractive timeline, and our guarantee at the end. Now let's look at an example using the Discover How template. By the way, you can say discover the or discover an. That part is flexible. Just make sure you start the headline with the word discover. So here's our example. Discover the ancient visualization technique used by kings and pharaohs for ensuring well-being, longevity, and supreme wealth that works instantly and requires only 5 minutes of quiet time to set in motion, 100% guaranteed. Now this is an example of a more over-the-top headline style, just to get you thinking outside the box a little. We have the benefits here, followed by an attractive timeline, and finally a guarantee. Those over-the-top headlines often work really well. They often do a great job of capturing attention. Just make sure your headline accurately reflects what's in your free report. My freelance writing resources report doesn't contain an ancient visualization technique used by kings, but if it did, then I could use this kind of angle for my headline. So review your report and see if it contains anything that you could spin into an over-the-top headline like this. Last but not least, the Now You Can Have template. Now you can have greater fulfillment, wealth, and better relationships in just 72 hours or less, guaranteed. You can see the key elements worked in here with the benefits, attractive timeline, and guarantee. Now listen, it's not always feasible to include a guarantee or an attractive timeline in your headline. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to include those things. So just keep in mind that it's okay to exclude those 2 elements if you feel like they don't fit. Try to include them though, as 9 times out of 10, they will help your conversion rate. Let's look now at a few examples of real headlines that are in play right now and are working really well, and we can see how they make use of the formula we just talked about. I'm on the website 3weekdiet.com, which is a top-selling product at ClickBank. You can see their headline doesn't start with one of the 5 headline templates, but it does weave in the key benefits here, stating that it's a proven, science-based diet that will melt away 12 to 23 pounds. The guarantee is here, and the attractive timeline here at the end. All in all, a solid headline and a proven winner, which we know given how well this product is selling at ClickBank. Let's look now at StartPottyTraining.com, another top ClickBank seller. You'll see that it starts with a proven headline template, the Discover How template. The key benefit is here, and the attractive timeline here. There's no guarantee, as you can see. If they added one though, I bet their page would perform even better. And here's my site, freelancewritingresources.com. You'll see that I'm also using one of the 5 proven headline templates, the Discover How template. Here is the specific benefit, and finally, the attractive timeline. This headline is also missing a guarantee, and I bet if I added one, conversion rate would go up. And that goes to show you, I've been an internet marketer for a long time, and even to this day, I don't do things perfectly. And that's a key lesson. You don't have to do things perfectly to create a hugely successful online business. You just have to make sure you get the fundamentals right. So when it comes to writing your headline, don't put a ton of pressure on yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. Keep the 5 headline templates and the 3 key elements in mind, and you should be able to whip up a great headline in no time. Before we move on, I want to circle back and talk about your free report briefly. I want to make sure you're able to knock your report out as quickly and painlessly as possible. So let's talk about your options here and some shortcuts you can take to getting the job done fast and with minimal fuss. Option 1 is to write the report yourself. This is the preferred option for a lot of people starting out because it's free. You don't have to pay anyone else to create the content, and you also retain maximum control over the content itself. If you already know a lot about the niche that you've chosen, then you're likely going to be able to whip out your free report and your headline in a matter of hours. It's not a ton of content, and the tools and templates I've given you in this video should speed up the process a lot. If you don't know a lot about your niche topic, then I want to give you an awesome research shortcut. Here's how it works. If I don't know much about my niche, then I'll go over to Amazon.com, do a search for my topic, and then buy a Kindle book, which I can often get for between 99 cents to $3. Usually the book will contain all the information I need to write my report. You don't need to buy a Kindle device, by the way, to read a Kindle book. Amazon has a program called the Kindle Reader, where you can read Kindle books online from your computer, and you can access it by signing into your Amazon account. So I'm here at Amazon.com now, and I'll just type freelance writing into the search box. And now here's a list of books. These authors have done all the research for us, so there's no need for us to do it all over again. Here I'll click on Writer for Hire, 101 Secrets to Freelance Success. And you can see here that I can get it on Kindle for free if I join Kindle Unlimited, which is $9.99 per month, or I can buy a copy for $9.99 if I don't want to join Kindle Unlimited. If we go back and look at freelance writing, a blueprint to making $1,000 per month, I could purchase it for just $3 without having to join Kindle Unlimited. Upon purchase, I would be able to access these books instantly through the Kindle Reader program in my Amazon.com account and start gathering all the information I need for my free report. So you can peruse the book you buy, get all the info you need pretty quickly, then use that information to create your content. The key with this is to choose a book that's selling well and has a lot of positive reviews. These are indicators that the author has done a good job with their content. You don't want to draw inspiration from a book that isn't selling well or has poor reviews, because that will affect the quality of your report. As far as writing, it gets a lot easier once your research is done. It may take a day, let's say, to create a report that you're happy with, but you have to remember that you'll be creating something that will be building your list and making you money for years, so it's well worth the time investment. Now, option 2 is to completely outsource the creation of your report. This eliminates pretty much all of the research and the writing that you would need to do if you were creating the content yourself, but the drawback is that there is a cost involved. You'll need to pay someone to create the content for you. Still, there are a lot of great writers out there that are willing to take on tasks like this for a very reasonable fee. Fiverr.com is one of my personal favorite places to outsource the creation of my reports. You can post a job, see who applies, then pick the writer you want to work with. I've had reports created for as little as $30 using this technique. Of course, make sure you select a good writer. Even if you have to pay a little bit more for higher quality writing, it's worth it, because the better your content is, the more your subscribers will value any future emails you send them, and the more sales you'll ultimately be able to make of the products you promote. Let's move on now to the next step in creating your automatic selling machine. Step 2, creating your lead offer page. Once you've created your content, it's time to create your lead offer page, also known as an opt-in or squeeze page. Again, this is the page where you'll be offering your visitors your free report in exchange for their email address. Here's the lead offer page again for freelance writing resources, and I want to talk first about the layout. You can see the page simply consists of a background image, and in the center of the page is a top headline, a main headline, and an opt-in form. I'm using a similar layout for most of my opt-in pages because this simple, sleek, modern design is working really well these days. I call this a blind opt-in page because beyond the headline, it doesn't go into detail on what the person is getting exactly. There aren't any bullet points or paragraphs of text that flesh things out in more detail, and there's no information on who is behind the site. The benefit of this layout, though, is that it often generates a super high conversion rate. This page, for example, gets a 42% conversion rate on average from cold traffic. The downside of this layout is that you're not giving your prospect the opportunity to connect with someone, and that's an important thing to do to establish trust. I'm going to show you a way around that though in just a minute. Let's talk first about how to get your lead offer page created. The good news on this front is that there are a lot of solid landing page tools out there right now that weren't available when I got started, and they make launching a great lead offer page easier than it's ever been. These tools include ready-made templates, both blind and non-blind, that you can tweak or just use out of the box, so there's literally no technical experience that you need in order to build a page. If you do a Google search for landing page creators or something along those lines, you'll be able to see what's available. I personally use a custom landing page builder that I had created from the ground up to work exactly like I wanted it to. I incorporated all my best performing templates into the tool and made everything super easy to use, and that's the tool that I use across all my sites. I'll actually be talking more about that tool later in this training series. Going back to the Freelance Writing Resources opt-in page, let's take a closer look at the 4 elements I mentioned earlier. I'd like to encourage you to use these same components on your first lead offer page because they work really well in combination. Starting with the background image, you can see that the image itself is aligned with the subject matter. It communicates the message I want to send that this site will show you how to become a successful freelance writer. Moving next to the top headline, you can see that it simply says, "Read this free report." It's a very simple, straight to the point request. Moving down, we have the main headline, starting with the Discover How template. And finally, the opt-in form itself with a bright, noticeable call to action button. Now the opt-in form is integrated with my email marketing provider. I personally use GetResponse. The page building software you're using should have instructions for completing the integration, which usually only takes a few minutes. Once your page is ready, you'll just use the Publish feature inside your page building software to get the page online. Before you publish, however, you'll want to register a good domain name for your site. The key with this is to choose a name that communicates what your site is about and even reflects the value that your site offers. So usually I'll take my main keyword and try to combine that with a secondary word. Some of my favorite secondary words are resources, answers, insider, and report. So the domain I'm using for my freelance writing site is freelancewritingresources.com. I could have also registered freelancewritinganswers.com, freelancewritingreport.com, or freelancewritinginsider.com. You can see how all of those options would work pretty well. Step 3, launching your welcome letter. We're halfway through creating our automatic selling machine. We've covered step 1, creating your lead winner, and step 2, launching your lead offer page. The next step is to launch your welcome letter. Now, you only need to do this if you're using a blind opt-in page. Again, these blind opt-in pages typically have a really high opt-in rate, but you still need some way to establish a baseline of trust with your subscriber. Remember, we want to build that relationship through every step of the visitor experience, and a welcome letter contributes to that. The way it works is simple. After someone opts into your lead offer page, you'll want to take them to a thank you page that contains a short welcome letter. It's a very simple concept, but it will have a significant impact on your results. Here's a closer look at the welcome letter for freelancewritingresources.com. You can download this welcome letter, by the way, just below this video, and feel free to use it as a template in creating the welcome letter for your site. I structure my welcome letters the same exact way that I do my free report. So remember, the formula for writing your free report is: number 1, describe the opportunity; number 2, introduce a problem; number 3, describe the solution; and number 4, recommend a product. Looking at this welcome letter, you'll see that exact structure at play. In green is text describing the opportunity. In red is the text describing the problem. Then in purple is the solution. And finally in gold is the product recommendation. And here I'm recommending my free report and letting people know that it's being emailed to them. You can see for this particular site, I'm using a pen name, Kate Iverson. A lot of people ask me if using a pen name is okay, and the answer is yes. Some of the most famous authors in the world use pen names. Stephen King wrote under the name Richard Bachman, J.K. Rowling wrote under the name Robert Galbraith, and the list goes on and on. It's a common practice in publishing, so it's something that you should feel free to utilize yourself. So again, with this welcome letter, you've already started warming up your subscribers, and this is going to lead to much better engagement. You'll get more people downloading your report, reading it, and clicking the product recommendation inside, where you earn an affiliate commission for your sales. Now wait and see what happens when your list starts getting emails from you. The effect of having a letter like this in the beginning will likely quadruple the eventual sales you'll make once you start sending out your email follow-up sequence. At this stage, we've covered creating your lead winner, launching your lead offer page, and launching your welcome letter. We're now ready to move to the final step in launching your automatic selling machine. Step 4, launching your email follow-up sequence. I have to say, I'm really excited to share this step with you. It's through your email follow-up sequence that the majority of your sales are going to be generated. And these sales will continue to roll in indefinitely because your sequence is going to be running day in and day out, 24/7, making sales for you whether you're working or not. Hence the name Automatic Selling Machine. When you structure your email follow-up sequence like I'm going to show you, not only will it make you sales initially, but you'll create a fantastic rapport with your subscribers so that you can sell even more stuff in the future weeks, months, even years down the road. So let's dive into how I structure my email follow-up sequences. I've been using the same structure for a long time across a lot of different sites, and it works incredibly well. As far as length, your sequence should be 10 to 14 emails initially. Later on, if you decide to scale, you'll want to build this out even further, but 10 to 14 emails is the perfect amount to start with. The goal of your email sequence is to do 2 things. Number 1, really bond your subscribers to you, and number 2, make as many sales as possible. To accomplish both of these objectives, you need the right balance of 3 key ingredients. When you balance these 3 ingredients in the right proportions and put them in the right order, you have a recipe for serious profits. I've opened up the actual email follow-up sequence for freelance writing resources, which is 12 days in length. Let's zoom out now, and we can get a bird's eye view of the sequence. Notice how I'm alternating between 3 different colors across the 12-day sequence. Each of these colors represents one of the 3 key ingredients. I call these 3 ingredients core, or C-O-R. C is purple and represents content. This is where you provide a tip of some kind, just good, solid advice meant to educate your subscriber. You can pull ideas straight from the Kindle book you downloaded on your niche. O is green and represents opportunity. This is about explaining what's possible, what your subscriber's life will be like should they solve their problem. This is also a place to minimize challenges. R is gold and represents recommendation. This is where you simply recommend whatever product it is that you're promoting. You can see we're starting off with a lot of opportunity followed by recommendation. Opportunity builds positive emotion, so it makes sense that you want to do this first. It's also important to recommend the product you're promoting early on in your sequence because that is often when your leads are the warmest. Think about it. Someone has just opted into your sequence at this stage, so they've just recently taken an important action that shows a high level of interest in what you're offering. So you want to capitalize on that by making sure to get a product recommendation in front of them as quickly as possible. Now you'll see we're moving out of opportunity and recommendation and more into content and recommendation. From there, we move heavily into recommendation mode. We've just given away a lot of content, so now we're safe to do some serious promoting. It's all about balance. Whenever you offer a solid amount of content, it opens the door to do some promoting without harming your list relationship. If your sequence consisted of all recommending without content to balance it, you would totally burn your list out, possibly for good. Now, after that heavy round of selling, which is where you'll usually see a big spike in sales, we're backing off now and moving into almost pure content. Whenever you hit your list hard with selling emails, you're going to turn some of your subscribers away. It's inevitable, but it's part of the list marketing game. Providing content will draw your subscribers back in. Next, you'll see we're kind of alternating more softly between content and recommendation. And finally, we end just as we began with opportunity and recommendation to rebuild that positive emotion in your subscribers. This sequence that you're looking at is what I call my email follow-up master recipe. I've included it in the download link below this video so you can use it as a template to create your own email sequence in your own niche or have someone else do it for you. You can apply this master recipe to literally thousands of niches out there successfully. I know because I've personally used it over and over again across a wide variety of niches. To create your own sequence, just take each email, make note of where C, O, and R show up, and then replicate the pattern. Alright, at this point you know how to choose a great market and set up an automatic selling machine the right way. Now all you need to do is turn on the machine. and all the machine needs to start running is traffic. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do in the next video. This is where things are going to get really exciting. I'm going to reveal my entire traffic blueprint and show you dozens of ways to get traffic to your site. Then I'm going to show you an amazing technique for growing your list on total autopilot using a special piece of traffic software I created for my own business that I call Social Leads Builder. This amazing tool harnesses the power of social networks and referral traffic and will literally generate leads for you day in and day out, completely hands-free. It's really powerful. You get to see it in action in the next video, and I'll be giving you access to the tool for free so you can begin using it right away. I have to say, I love the traffic getting part of this business. I've been an internet marketer for many years now, but I still love the thrill of launching a new site and flipping the traffic switch as much as I ever have. It's so much fun waiting for that first sale to come in. And when you see it happen and you know your new site is working, it's such a great feeling. So keep an eye out for the next video. I know you're gonna love it. We also have a live webinar coming up soon where I'll be showing you my blueprint for scaling your business up to 7 figures per year. Believe it or not, what I'm covering in these videos is just the beginning of what's possible online. We're going to be taking things to a whole new level on the live webinar. For now, don't forget to download your resources below this video, start thinking about your niche and mapping out your own automatic selling machine, and use the proven templates and resources below as a shortcut. Also, I would love for you to hit that like button below this video, but even more, scroll down and leave a comment. Let me know what you found most helpful about this video and how you think this information is going to impact your business and your life. So scroll on down and leave a comment right now.
Hi, this is Steve from San Diego, and I just wanted to take a minute to share my online success story that I've had using Adam Short's system. Following Adam's training, I was actually able to build an $18,000 a month business within a few months, which then later I was actually able to sell for a large lump sum. Now, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I had never went to college, never got a degree, and in fact, I was actually working retail jobs. I was working at Kmart and Best Buy during that time. I bought all kinds of different courses. I joined every newsletter I could, tried everything that I had thought. I just wasn't seeing the progress that I had wanted, so I actually almost gave up at the time. I was actually starting to get pretty fed up with the whole process, but by chance, I actually came across Adam Short's interview one day online through a webinar he was doing, and I knew right away that what he was talking about was the real deal. So I listened intently, and after listening, I tried to apply everything that I could from him, and I joined his system. So after joining his system and learning how to create niche websites, I created my first one, and about 3 weeks later into it, after learning how to get traffic from Adam, I actually made my first sale. That really excited me because I saw that this was something that was working, and I knew that all I had to do was drive more traffic to it and how to scale it up. So I continued to learn from Adam how to bring more traffic in. So really the best advice I could give, if anybody asked me how they could have success online, I would really follow Adam Short's teachings. He knows what he's talking about. If you're just a beginner, and you've never done this before, Adam will break it down to you. He'll show you exactly all the ropes. It'll be really simple to understand. Even if you've been doing this for a long time or you've had success with anything else, try a system too, because if you follow it, you'll be guaranteed success. It will work for you. In my view, Adam Short's system is the best you can do for anything online. If you want to learn how to have success, definitely check it out. It'll be worth your time.
My name is Mike Payne from Lake Placid, Florida, and I've been associated with Adam Short since 2009, a long time. And I'm very happy to say that it has been a very happy association because I have made some real good money with Adam Short systems. I'm not going to go into the details, but I've made enough money to afford some very expensive dental work, put a new roof on my house, pay off many of my outstanding debts, and I'm very happy that I started that association with Adam many years ago. Before I met up with Adam Short, I was trying all sorts of things on the internet to make money, and I'm ashamed to say I have spent lots of money on different, quote, internet gurus who were so smart and they didn't come through. Now, they were smart enough to get lots of my money, but they weren't smart enough to show me how to make some money, and that was until I met Adam Short. Like I say, he's the one who's opened up the doors for me, and he's still opening them up for me so much because I'd tried so many different things that they did not work. Now, it wasn't an immediate success story when I started following Adam's systems, but I stayed with it. And I kept learning and learning and learning. And every day I went back to learn more, I realized Adam Short is a sharp guy. And then one day it's like the lights came on and the money started rolling in. Everything changed. Suddenly I was excited about getting up in the morning, going to check my computer and see how much money I had made the night before as I slept. Just like they all tell you on the commercials for internet marketing programs. But Adam Short's program worked. And I'm so happy that it did work because it's sort of changed my life for the better, which I appreciate. Now, there are many, many people out there on the internet that tell you they know how you can make big bucks. And they tell you if you just buy their programs, all your problems will be solved. And that's not necessarily true, but I'll guarantee you one thing. If you go with Adam Short and work with his systems that he's working on, I'll guarantee if you follow him and do what he says, and it's very important to do what he says, you will make money on the internet. So my motto is this in internet marketing: whatever Adam Short comes up with, I'm going to follow it, study it, and use it to make money because I know that it'll work. And I say that with a surety because every time I look at my bank account, I can say, yeah, Adam Short systems work, and I'm so happy for them. So if you're thinking about it, I would advise you to go with Adam Short. He's the way to go. He did it for me, and he can do it for you.
Hi, my name is Maurice Tuck, and I'm from Stafford, Virginia. I want to take a few moments here to tell you about my online success using Adam Short's system. By following Adam's system, I've been able to build a few websites. I think I'm up to about 9, and I'm currently working on an ebook as well through following his system and doing what I have found extremely interesting and fun to work with as well. And I have been able to actually supplement my income surprisingly a whole lot more than I thought I would ever be able to. You see, it goes back to my story. To tell you a little bit about it, I went through a divorce about 5 years ago now. And I ended up having to file bankruptcy. So, of course, with going through those things, it was a huge setback that I did not see coming. So I started to really take a look at internet marketing and online marketing, and I really became more interested in it. I was excited and ready to find a way to make some extra income, and from time in and time out, everything I tried came to a dead end, and all the hype about this works or that works or this program, this system works, it just did not work for me. So I continued my effort to look for something, and I came across Adam Short on a webinar that I listened to that he was on, and he introduced his system, and I followed up with the instructions on there, signed up with his program, and I have had an unimaginable amount of success since that time. I was able for the first time in my life to really enjoy a vacation. My wife and I this past April, we went on a vacation down to the Caribbean and had a wonderful time, and I was able to check in and out with my laptop just right there, being a couple of thousand miles away from home. So believe me, the opportunity is there. And if you follow up on it, you can be making money online. The only thing that the one thing, let me say that I really want to instill upon you all out there that's listening to this is that Adam's system works. You can't go wrong with it. If I can do it, I know anybody can. I'm a 54-year-old, and I decided to make a change, and thankfully, I seen that change happen. So trust me, you can do this if you really put your mind to it and you have the discipline and you work hard at what you're doing. I've had a couple of my websites that I've actually landed on the front page of Google, and they're still there on Google. So life is great. That's all I can say. Life is great. So Adam, shout out to you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for the change that you've made in our lives, and for you being out there for people for you having a genuine concern with people instead of trying to take money and okay, see you later, that's it. You never hear from the person again. So thanks again, Adam. You're great, man. You're great. You and your team are awesome. Simply awesome. Thanks, and that's pretty much it for me for now. And I look forward to hearing success stories from those of you out there who are willing to keep your dream alive and stay disciplined and watch it come true. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Lorraine. I'm originally from Chicago, and now I live in a small Illinois community called Freeport. And I'd like to report on how I use Adam Short's training and technology in order to be able to make an income from my laptop, which enables me to travel, as well as to help with other people in my hometown with my internet skills. How did I get started? Well, in 2007, I was working for a large downtown Chicago law firm, and I had a big paycheck with bonuses and perks and overtime, and I was pretty well set. Then in 2009, the shoe did drop, and a lot of people in my law firm were laid off. And I used that money and time to invest seriously now in learning how to do an internet business. What I did first is I took a lot of courses. I met a lot of wonderful people, and I made a whole bunch of mistakes. Fortunately, I did make mistakes, because then in 2010, when I came upon Adam's training and his ways of making money, I realized this was not hype. I realized that he had a system that it would enable me to see the big picture of everything I needed to know about the internet, because I was a newbie and I was over 55. So I knew that I had a lot of catching up to do, because a lot of the younger people were way ahead of me. But I did. I followed his system. I learned. I took his tutorials. I started practicing what he taught. I actually earned while I learned, because I felt the confidence that I had by taking his classes. I felt that he was keeping me up to date on how the internet was changing. Most recently, I've been able to take on a book publication project, all the way from the draft book to the actual publication on both Kindle and on a print-on-demand platform. So I'm very glad and grateful to Adam for giving me this opportunity to tell my story and to encourage others. As you can see, I'm a very satisfied student. And I encourage you too to use this method, take this training, learn how you too can be an independent internet business owner, which gives you great freedom. And you too can learn the next step in technology, whether it be a laptop or a tablet or a smartphone, or who knows what's next.
Hi guys, my name is Steve Hines. I am 37 years old. I live in Derby in England, and this is a quick video for Adam Short and his training methods. My story isn't probably typical of somebody trying to make money online, and I actually hate that phrase anyway. It sounds like such a keyword. But what I've learned through Adam Short is how to build a successful online business, and I much prefer that. So I'm no longer an electrician, which I did for most of my last decade or so. I now make money online. I have a successful online business. Thumbs up for a training method, and to say that, you know, Adam Short's trainings clearly work. They changed my life. You know, they made me now more financially secure. I mean, you know, I live in a modest 3-bed semi in Derby. I'm not rich, but I would never be rich an electrician. The whole point is with this, if I keep scaling this and scaling this and scaling this, one day we will be very wealthy, you know, and I won't be working all the hours God sends. You know, when you work smarter, you can do sometimes, you know, just a few hours a week, keep things ticking over, build your list, that sort of thing. You don't have to be, you know, working nose to the grindstone 60 hours a week to make a lot of money in internet marketing or, you know, with your online business. So, you know, like I said, I've still got bills to pay, like everybody else, still got mortgage to pay, still got credit cards. But what it did allow me to do was renovate this house. We bought this as pretty much like a shell in January 2015, and we moved in June 2015, and I worked on this house pretty solid, because electrician, my former trade connections, I worked on it solid, all on my own mostly. I had the plumber and a few other people that I wasn't skilled for, and I could do that because I had a passive residual online income through a business that I built it through Adam Short's training. So I think this video is long enough. I think that pretty much encapsulates everything I've got to say about it. It's really successful if you take action, and that is the most important thing. Don't procrastinate, you know, focus and take action, because you can have the best training in the world sat in your lap, sat on your laptop. If you don't do anything with it, and sometimes all you need to do is just 20 minutes a day, you know, 20 minutes a day, half an hour, just keep it going a little bit like that. It builds up into cumulative effect. You get a bit of momentum going. Worst thing is maybe when you do like 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday and you don't do anything for a week or 2 weeks. No, just do a little bit each day. Build what you're doing slowly, and you will see the fruits of your labour. Right, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspires you to do that, to be successful, and to basically focus on what you want in life and go for it, because it is possible. Okay, most people that make money online are just average guys like you and me. They don't promote themselves on YouTube. You probably never hear about them. They just find a good training package like this and work quietly behind the scenes in their homes, making a nice money for their friends and family, so they don't have to worry about money in the future. It's that simple. So big thumbs up to Adam. Really appreciate everything you've done for me, mate, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, take care.